Next, we are moving towards an industry presentation by Raymond Fernandes, Chief Academic Officer, Singhania Education Services Limited. Can we have a round of applause for sir?
Good afternoon. I'll say it again. Good afternoon. So generally what happens is, are we set with the presentation? Just let me know if the presentation is set. Oh, yes. So generally what happens is when you have such a wonderful audience and you have such a wonderful panel, there is a sense of acceptance of what they've said and it overwhelms you. So what I will do is before my panel starts, I will start with a question. There's one thing that the moderator just said. He said, write what are your takeaways. We are all teachers, right? So we may just not about need a mic to speak. So what are your 3 takeaways from the panel that just presented their views? Speak up. Anyone? It's very interesting, right? We want our kids to speak, but we generally shy away when we have to speak. What are the 3 takeaways? Just any answer? So I will share my 3 takeaways. Yes, ma'am. Learn to learn more. Unlearn, relearn.
Get ready for learning.
Get ready for learning.
And most important is flexibility, not the rigidity.
Fantastic. Fantastic. My 3 takeaways were pretty much the same. The future of education, whether it's higher education or K-12, is collaboration, customization, and what every single member on this panel said, ownership. We don't need rules, we don't need regulations. If we can get our kids to take ownership, they tend to learn much better. Now, keeping this entire paradigm of ownership in mind is very simple and comprises events that are on the screen. One is we believe if you need to take ownership, what we present to you must be your own. And therefore, it is your own app. It is an LMS of sorts, but we internally believe it is a knowledge management system more than a learning management system because there is an aggregation of everything that we put together on this platform. We have content that is ready, we have assessments, and we have ERP. And you'll always wonder why a learning management system talks about ERP. And I will come to it a little later. If you can change the slide, please. Before I walk you through, this is our base in Mumbai. We are a set of educators that work very closely to build and develop content. Our content is all made in-house. We have subject matter experts. We have production control units which are state-of-the-art. We record our own lessons and we provide lessons and video recording for schools if they so need to. Our state-of-the-art technology has pretty much everything that is really required to present and deliver a good quality lesson. Now what we do out here is very simple. We present video lessons which are going to help students revisit concepts, and this is what we bring to you, and I'll walk you through what we do. If in our journey of bringing good quality education to schools, we realize that we need to focus on stakeholders, and we've been talking about this all throughout, and we know who the stakeholders are. So my first stakeholder, if I can change the slide please, is students and parents. And what do we bring for students and parents? Next. We bring a learning app which is customized to the curriculum that the child needs. If the school is an ICSE school, the curriculum is customized to the ICSE school. If the school is a CBSE school, the curriculum is customized to the CBSE school. If you can tap again, we have video lectures, we call them, but these are video micro lessons where every concept is broken, every chapter is broken down concept-wise. And therefore, it becomes very easy for the child to go and revisit. Now, mind you, what we do is, although we present and we design high-quality videos, we know that our videos will never replace a teacher. They supplement the work that is done in school, and therefore, when the child watches the video, he recalls what the teacher has said in school. Now, the very important aspect out here is, we know, there's a question again, where do you think learning happens? Don't answer the question. Our understanding generally, learning happens in school. But to tell you the truth, and if you even think about it for yourself, learning happens where you are the most comfortable. And generally, everyone is most comfortable at home. And therefore, what we do is we try to blur the boundary between home and school. So what the teacher is teaching in school, our videos transform them at home as a matter of recall. We also have, I'll just show you a small demo of our kind of videos that we have.
Can I construct garden slides and giant wheels on my own? 10,000 people had come to watch the match. Wait, did I really count them? I dug a well 10 feet deep, but how much water can it store? If I add a comma here, will its value change? Is the rope tangent to the wheel? I want to paint my wall with bright colors. But how much will it cost? Will I get answers to all these questions? Yes! The best companion for your curiosity is here. Welcome to the new age of learning, which is innovative, creative, and interactive. This new platform enables understanding a concept fast and fluent. Learning has never been so filled with fun.
So age-appropriate videos for kids. I'm very certain all of you are paying attention. So one question. How many people were there in the stadium? 10,000. Fantastic, fantastic. And this is what it is. Small little glimpses, small little nuggets, but it captures your imagination. We also have, and we have a 4-point approach to learning. We call this watch. The next part of our approach to learning is called think. And if I can show you what we do in think and solve, is we have MCQs, which are very easy, so that there is quick recall, and it builds into an entire formative assessment. The panelists earlier have said, we've been harping and talking so much about NEP for the last 2 years, but good quality education, if you are delivering good quality education, you are already delivering the NEP. But the NEP talks about assessments, and it talks about formative assessments. For us, formative assessments are very important. Therefore, our MCQs work very closely with those formative assessments. We also know that a pen and paper assessment is essential because the kids need to learn the skill to write. And therefore, we have practice papers and worksheets, all of them age appropriate. We know that the NEP has broken the journey of learning into 4 cohorts, right? Preparatory, middle, secondary, etc. What we call them is, we call them formative years, we call them wonder years, we call them transformative years, and we call them achievement years. The name itself suggests what the child is expected to do. And therefore, our entire environment is designed to accommodate these year groups, which is conducive to what the child really needs to do. The next part of the slide, please. We also have small activities. Now, we've realized that kids learn by doing. Now, we can't give them a lot to do. So what we have is very simple activities, drag and drops and filling in the buckets or bursting a balloon. The activity and the game in itself is very simple, but the concept that it drives home creates an impact in the mind of the student. So our 4-fold approach is watch, think, solve, and play. And through these 4 approaches, we deliver and recall concepts that the kids would learn in school at home. The next slide, please. These are examples of our activities. If you are tempted to answer the question, please feel free to answer. Next. Of course, the answer to this, I'm assuming, is a knife. You can participate, please. This is a class. The next. What does a teacher use? Of course, both answers may just about be correct, depending on what lesson is happening, but I'm certain she uses the blackboard to teach. Next, please. Now we come to the crux of just giving you some numbers. If I take grade 10 alone, I have these many assets. I have close to 1,243 videos, over 1,000 tests, 5,000 practice questions, 332 worksheets, and activities which are just nearing about 200. If you just look at grade 10 alone, the environment that we provide is more than enough for the child to study. What we've also learned through our interaction, and we got close to about 60 partners who we work with, and we call them partners. We don't believe we are service providers. We believe we are partners because we are bringing a small change in education wherever we go. So the partners whom we worked with and the experience that we've got from them say that this is more than enough. And because it is more than enough, the child does not need to go to a second institution. And I'm assuming you know what the second institution in education is, right? The entire concept of tuitions does not need to be there if you have something that is going to help the child. And that is what we provide. Suraj, the next slide. We also have small little nuggets
pattern. The whole paper
which help them in the board paper preparation.
Section A and Section B. Hello students, today we'll be understanding the paper presentation.
Let us now have a look at the time management for the English Literature Paper 2.
Here are some preparation tips.
As a teacher, I know how important it is to get the kids to understand how they need to prepare for the exam. And therefore, our achievement years, grades 9, 10, 11, 12, we focus a lot on this. Sometimes the child needs a teacher when he wants it. At home, when he's studying, and you don't get an opportunity to reach out to your teacher, but anytime, anywhere, education through Singhania Quest Plus makes it possible. If I look at what the parents will get. Now, as a parent, what would you want to know about your child when he's studying? You need to know his effort, and you need to know his excellence. How long has he or she studied, and how much has he or she studied? And that's exactly what we provide. Not too much, not too little. Simple data that's going to help them understand the effort that the child has put in and the excellence that the child has gained. Now, there has been this entire talk, specifically throughout the pandemic, to say that the child is spending too much time on a small little device. As leaders and principals, you all must have got that question. Give us an example, abhi bata dijiye, how to get the child away from the screen. Our philosophy is very simple. New age education, and if you look at it even in your lives, you can't do without that phone. The child is watching us, and therefore the child at some point in time will also not be able to do without the phone. But our paradigm is, if the child is spending 10 minutes, give us those 5 minutes of those 10 minutes, because I will be able to give you quality assessment, and I will be able to give you a quality analysis of what the child has done in those 5 minutes. And that is the small little thing that we do, because we need our parents to be partners with us in education. And the best way to get parents to partner with us is give them the information that they need. The next part of the slide, please. Next. We have been talking about upskilling and reskilling for almost an hour and a half in the previous panel. And I was very happy when Ms. Shefali brought this point about upskilling and reskilling teachers. We believe that if we provide teachers with the necessary tools, the teachers will automatically upskill themselves. And therefore, we have a lot to offer for the teachers. We have question papers for them. We have a question paper generator that can generate question papers for them, that can generate worksheets for them. Now, if you take a survey, and this is what we are doing, pan-India, Once the study comes out, I'll be more than happy to share it with you. But in your schools, if you take a survey to find out what is the time the teachers spend the most and don't like doing, there'll be two answers: setting papers and correcting papers. What we do is we cannot take away a lot of the correction, but we take away a little bit. And on analysis, we've realized that if you use Singhania Quest Plus app, you can save up to 30% of the non-contact time of the teacher. Now, 30% is a good enough time for the teacher to do a lot, to be a better teacher, to learn a lot, to read a lot, and bring in the experience in class. We had a basic conceptual analysis and calculation, but now we are taking a survey, reaching out to schools, getting a questionnaire done, and doing a primary research paper on to see whether we are right or not. We've done basic research initially, and we realized that we are hitting the mark. But for our teachers, that 30% is very important. And I'll tell you why it is important. Once again, most of our teachers in school are women. She's a mother, she's a sister, she's a daughter. She has two jobs, one in school and one at home. If we can save a little bit of time for her, we are very confident that she can give much more in the educational institution. And therefore, for the teachers, we have this offering. Now the next is data. We have been talking once again since morning, how do we come up with good decisions? The world in the West actually has moved a lot in terms of data and data analysis. It is coming to India in education now, where data-driven decisions are going to be important. Your PTMs that you conduct will be very, very fruitful if you have good data. Just imagine walking into a PTM and the teacher spends just about 5 minutes to say, Mr. Fernandes, your son is very good. He's got 70%. And if he works a little more, he can get 76%. This is the work that I want him to do. And this is the work, if you do it, and if you monitor, I know he's going to go from 70 to 76%. Presently, our PTMs, and I'm guilty of it too as a teacher, it is such a pleasure to be in the class that your son is. He's the life of the class. He's such a darling. These are not things that we need to say in a PTM. The parent knows it, we know it too. If you have data-driven decision, it gets very easy for the school and the teacher to see growth. Now, if you look at this chart, it's very simple, right? Data for us is drilled down from a 90 feet view to granular. And I'll show you how granular it can go. Very simple, isn't it? If you look at this, there is a school, and this is live data. This is real data. This is not made-up data. In a school that we've deployed this, there are about 10 divisions. Which division watches the videos the most? Simple, isn't it? When you just look at the graph, you know. Which division does not like assessments? Once you have identified these problems and these challenges, you can address them. The next data is going to be a little more granular. It goes down to the level of the student. There are 4 students that have been pitched out here. If you look at it very carefully, the student 4 was brilliant. He does not look at videos because he's understood the concepts clearly. But he loves tests, and therefore he attempts a lot of tests. But student 3 is shying away from tests. Now, if he's shying away from tests, let's see what kind of tests is he shying away from. Suraj, if you can help me get the next slide on. Okay. And the next slide, please. Maybe for the student, let us look at physics. Physics has 9 modules. And the modules in the next slide are split into different parts. Suraj, the next one, please. Each of these have an assessment. Once I have these assessments and the assessments are given, I get the data of the modules. Simple analysis, right? While this is a representation, what does this representation say? Where is he weak? He is weak in module number 4. Now, where in module number 4 he's weak is my next slide. And we drill it down, the next one, Suraj. We drill it down to the level of the question. We know that these were the questions that were there. 3 were answered, the others were not. And therefore, the algorithm tries to then give out data to tell the child, okay, you've got these questions wrong. These are the explanation. Please go and refer to it. The teacher knows where the child is wrong, and she can work differentiated teaching strategies. We've heard of differentiated teaching strategies for a very long time, right? As educators, I'm very certain you must have. I have been grappling with differentiated teaching strategies for the last 15 years. Differentiated teaching is impossible without technology. You can't walk into a class in India where the class size is 1:40, 1:45, and work differentiated teaching and learning without technology. But when you have technology, all you can do is you can separate your kids into different ability levels without telling them. So you're not labeling them, you're not branding them, but you know that this is what it is. And through technology, send them worksheets that will help them go from point A to point B. All our assessments are based on DOK. Have you heard of DOK? DOK is Norman Webb's depth of knowledge. Now, generally, we always talk about Bloom's taxonomy, right, in education. We believe Bloom's taxonomy is good when the teacher is preparing her lesson, but when you have to go into the rigor of assessments, you must use the depth of knowledge. And the depth of knowledge is, there are 4 levels, and I can give you a whole discourse on it, but I'll make it very brief. There are 4 levels, starting from recall to extended thinking. And you don't need to go from one to the other to reach the highest level. A child is smart enough so that he can toggle between all these. And therefore, what we do is we provide all these 4 levels of assessments. The next slide, shows it. The third part is for us leaders. What would we as leaders want to know? There was a very pertinent question that was asked out here. Will you give admission to the students who are dropouts? Right. All education institutions are worried because at some point in time, it is to say 90% of my students got 96% marks. I'm sorry if it's a general statement. It may not be true for the people in this August gathering, but it is true in a certain sense. And therefore, what we do is we give a realistic picture to the management. Our dashboards are robust, the analytics are simple, and the dashboard looks something like this. It can be drilled down to the micro level of the student if you so choose to, but you get to know how many students have been active, so you get to know their effort, how many teachers have been active, because that's very important for you too. If you have more than one institution, you can compare those institutions. We've not made the algorithms very complicated and the graphs very complicated. They're very simple comparison graphs. The next part, please. This helps us make better data-driven decisions. This is also designed by educationists for educationists. We are all teachers who've gotten into this to give back to society what we learned when we were growing up in this profession. It is not a tech company that has started an education venture. And we helped schools become NEP ready. If you realize, the word that is used the most in the national education policy is technology, in some form or the other. And we endeavor to bring that to you. Now as I said, ownership becomes very important, so we customize the app for you. It is your app. And I've seen this transformation in schools that I've spoken to. The minute your name comes on the app, it becomes your app. And therefore, the ownership of the school, the ownership of the teachers, the ownership of the students increases exponentially. We are close to hitting 100% login rate for students, where sometimes in the real world, it is not that. And it is very heartening for us to know that teachers feel that they're making an impact. I also spoke about collaboration. What we do at Singhania is invite teachers to collaborate with us. So if you have a question paper that needs to go up out there, we help you. If you can't type it, you give it to us, we format it, we put it up. The idea must come in. The effort is what we extend. And we've seen that teachers, after a little bit of nudging and prodding and pushing, love to do it. If I can go on, next slide, please. Yes, please. Now, besides education and the studying part of it, we also get 2 very important aspects. One is coding. Now, the coding platform that we have is not only coding, but it's an integrated approach to coding and technology. We have transdisciplinary and interdisciplinary approaches to coding. It's a coding plus platform. It is very effective and very powerful. And we love to share a lot of it with you if we have the time. The next one. Now the school ERP. And I believe I'm running out of time. But why is the school ERP important in an LMS? As an educator, you must have seen this. You have a learning management system and you have an administrative management system, and they don't talk to one another. And it gets very difficult to transfer data from one to the other because your partners are different. What we do is we bring everything on one platform. Our ERP has a whole host of data and a whole host of functionalities that you can use. I've just put a few out here. Examination management, communication management, fees, attendance, and the list just goes on. The important thing for us to do is to have this with us, because what your administrative team is doing and what your academic team is doing is in sync. The next slide, please. We have a presence in 7 states. We are planning to go aggressively pan-India. We are looking to partnering with schools that are like-minded so that we can take this endeavor one step at a time. We've got some accolades and some pats on the back in our journey. We are a very young company, just about 2.5 years old. We've got about 70,000, 80,000 students. We've got 60 partners who've come with us on board. We've learned from them and we've shared all our expertise with them. And of course, we are hoping to increase that fraternity. The next slide, please. So your takeaways. We offer this, an academic learning platform, an integrated coding program. We offer you an experiential learning program where you can have in-house outbound experiences. We can have virtual tours for you, and we offer a school ERP. Everything under a spectrum. So you need not go anywhere. You can be with us, stay with us for all this. The beauty of this is if you need just any one of this, that too is also possible. As I said, it is collaboration, it is customization, and it is ownership. And we truly believe in customization. The last slide, please. This is my team. They are around. I've been calling out Suraj's name for a while. Please feel free to visit our experience booth or experience stall. Talk to them, ask them a little more than what I have given. I'm more than happy to interact with you whenever you want to. I'm here throughout the day. I've also got some forms for you to fill. But before you fill the form, just a show of hands, how many of you were listening to me for the last 15, 20 minutes? Show of hands. Feel happy about it. Let me also feel happy about it. If your hand's down, no, it's okay. So then let me do one small little exercise with you. Are you game? Just small little exercise. Look here, please. The caveat is, every time I've done this, nobody's got it right. Let's see if you're different. Okay? Loosen up your hands. You can sit, relax, loosen up your hand. Come on, join me. Just amuse me. Just loosen up your hand. Do this. Do this. Do this. And slowly put it on your chin. Thank you very much. This is your chin. So, the reason why I'm doing this is very simple. I told you not many get it right. As an educator, your kids do what you do. They never do what you say. If you want to be a good teacher, lead by example. If you want them to keep their phones out, you keep yours too. If you want them to study, study with them. And if you want them to fill a form, like the one I've kept in front of you, fill it with them. My team is filling it up for me. I would love to see you fill it up for me too. Thank you so much for your time. It has been a pleasure talking to you. I hope you had some takeaways. You can be a little more generous with the claps, but I leave it up to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. I hope you all had your takeaways, and you must be aware that how Quest Plus is working and how they can help you. You can visit their booth also. Sir, I'll request you to please remain on the stage. Yeah. Now I would like to request Poonamjeet Kaur, Principal Smart Wonder School Mohali, to please come on the stage and give token of memento to sir. Can we have a round of applause, please?